All right, welcome in. I'm gonna do an audio test, guys. Can you hear me? I changed some stuff up a little bit. We have a little bit of an overlay here. I want to make sure people can see me and also can hear me. I know you guys can see me, but I don't know if you guys can hear me. That's the one thing I don't know. Awesome, beautiful. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is really good. This is really really good. Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. Audio sounds good. I sound like Megatron. The audio should be good. Yeah, the audio should be good. Oh, I have two tracks enabled at once. That could be, you know what? That could literally just be it. Bear with me for 1 second. How about now? Is it better now? I think it's gonna be better now because I disabled one of them. Nope, same thing. Yeah, I definitely am gonna have to play. Is it manageable though? Does it sound very bad? If it's manageable, then I'll continue. But if it's you sound fine. People say it's fine. Okay. What I'll do is I will make sure we are set up for next time. So don't worry about it. We'll get it set up for next time. It should probably be fine as long as you guys can hear me and it's manageable. We should be okay. I also worked on this too, so this is like you'll see this. I'm trying to figure out like whoa now we're big. But I'm trying to work on everything here. So there's a lot of different things going here, but I should just stick to trading, right? This is too much technical stuff here. We'll figure it out later, guys. Anyway, welcome in everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. We have a lot to go over today's session. We're going to talk about the market bounce. We're going to talk about SPY moving up today, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot on the docket today. There's a lot on the economic docket today. We're going to talk about what's going on into tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session is going to be pretty big. Tomorrow's session, obviously, FOMC minutes. We're also going to go over today. We'll talk about our SPY chart. We'll talk about SPY. We're going to go over the Qs. We're going to talk about the QQQ 421 reclaim yesterday, which obviously was a very big reclaim. We're going to go over Nvidia. We'll talk about Nvidia 104. We're going to talk about Apple, one of my top watches today, Apple 190, right? 190 and Apple, very critical level, holding off a very key demand zone. We're also going to talk about something on the SMH today. SMH is something that I didn't notice until this morning. SMH weekly level, weekly or monthly level, you can call it probably a monthly level. We're going to talk about that 160 in SMH, which is obviously that tech chip sector. And I think this is an important idea for us going forward, right? Where do we see the first rotations into, right? As the market may be potentially rebounding here, where do we see rotations back into? So we're going to talk about that. Yeah, guys, I know. Trust me, I know that there is some stuff going on with my audio, but I'll have it sorted for next time. Just bear with me as I deal with it. I wish I could. I really wish I could fix it. I really wish I could fix it 'cause I just don't know what's causing it. But we'll get it. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed. But for now, this is what we're gonna have to deal with. Because if I spend time trying to fix it now, we'll have no live stream. All right, guys. Let's move on. So Today's session, obviously, there is no real economic data, right? So there is nothing really to talk about. We just have some bill announcements, 11 o'clock. Nothing really on the docket here. Tomorrow's session is where it becomes important. Tomorrow's session, Wednesday, we have 11 o'clock data. Then we also have 2 p.m. FOMC minutes. People who don't know, FOMC minutes basically is your basically the meeting notes from last session. So last session we had FOMC last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Anyway, whatever it was, these are the meeting notes of that session, right? So you're gonna get the internal kind of dialogue between the FOMC members, and the market reacts to that. So just be careful trading into that session. It's not going to be crazy. Then obviously on Thursday, that's CPI. That's going to be crazy, right? CPI is going to be the biggest day this week. Thursday and Friday are the two biggest sessions of this week. On the earnings docket, all we have to talk about on the earnings docket is Delta tomorrow morning. Delta tomorrow morning, that's the big one. Delta actually has an important earnings report. The reason why is because they tell us, right, how the economy is doing, right? If there is a lot of travel, we know that their consumer spending is going to be high and the market it has resiliency. If there is less travel, then we know that the market may be maybe going into that downturn that everyone's talking about. So Delta and a lot of the airlines actually do have an importance on the overall market, especially in times like this. So be aware of that going into our Wednesday session. Obviously, it's not going to have a profound impact, but I would expect some sort of market reaction. Right. So it's clear sound now. I think I fixed it, to be honest with you. I think I fixed it, but I don't know if I did. Right. I really don't know. We'll have to dive into it later because that you guys are probably right. I think it's multiple media sources that are causing this issue. Anyway, so if it does sound clear, let me know. If it does sound clear, cool, awesome, perfect, good to go. Nope, not that one. Where is it? Here we are. Cool. So on the SPY chart, we're going to talk about SPY first. Yesterday's session, we spoke about one level, guys. What did we say yesterday's session? Yesterday, we spoke about the 480, right? And I got to say, in the pre-markets, we've had the right idea. 480 was the level yesterday, right? We spoke. It's kind of crazy. We talked in detail about 540 on Thursday. We spoke about the 510 on Friday. And then on Monday, we spoke about 480, right, as the bounce area. Now, I actually didn't get this trade, right? This was the first trade I actually really didn't get on the demand side. The reason why was because there were some contract issues on Monday session. Right? Monday session, you guys saw the volatility was crazy. A lot of brokers were having issues with what? Issues with contract quotes. So Thinkorswim, the Lightspeed, a lot of brokers were having outages yesterday morning. Very, very bizarre that it happened at the most critical demand of the most critical demands. We spoke yesterday about this being one of the most important levels of the market. Why was it the most important level? Because remember, it was at 2021 high, the 2022 high, and the 2023 high that became support yesterday's session. And the fact that we turned this into support is really interesting because as long as we are holding 480 in the market, there is a little shred of bullish sentiment in the market. Now, we're not out of the woods yet, right? Just because we're bouncing off a key demand zone, it doesn't mean we're necessarily out of the woods. It means that we are bouncing off a critical support zone. So yesterday, you saw the 480 maintain, okay? And that was obviously important. That was a level to watch out for. And I'm sure many of you guys probably took that trade. But more importantly, we not only maintained above 480, but we saw the first reclaiming move yesterday. And the reclaiming move yesterday was the reclaim above 510. 510 was the level that we had to watch out for. Remember the 510 bounce we took from Friday's session? It was at Friday support. Well, we reclaimed that on Monday, right? And even this morning, you're seeing a little bit of a gap up, holding support above 510. Is this the case of us switching back bullish? Not yet, not quite. I mean, we're sort of certainly on the way there, right? But it's not quite perfectly there, right? We have to understand that the way we must get back bullish now, right? The way we must get back bullish now is a few things. The first thing we must do is we must hold 510. Because if we lose 510, today, right? If we lose 510 today, then we are going lower right back in 480. So if you are watching for shorts today, one of your top short plays is probably going to be a break and hold under 510. Because if you lose the 510 level, we likely go back a lot lower. So watch 510. 510 is the level. If we lose that support zone, we're going to move back down into 480. Okay. Regardless, if we If we reclaim 523 as the next pivot, 523, 524, then we go higher back into 535. And that again would be another reclaiming move. So today's session, what you want to watch out for is you want to see, do we break and hold above 523? If we break and hold above 523 today, then I would expect upside back into 535. If we lose 510, then I'd expect downside back into 500 and possibly even 480. If we lose 500, which again is another big level to watch out for, then we go right back into 480. So today's session, shorts under 510, back into 500. That would be your best possible short today. And secondly, if you're looking for longs, you want to probably look for this today. A hold of 510 would probably be your best possible long opportunity. And then again, if you hold 510, we move right back into the supply zone. This is still supply 524. If we want to see more upside above 524, back into 535. Again, there's nothing but room between 524 and 535. So if you do break above 524, then the next level should be that 535 level of resistance. Okay, so it's a little bit of an interesting session today because this is the first real bounce we've gotten into the market. The question is, do we bounce and hold here, or is this simply just another dead cat bounce and fade, right? Now, I really am putting more emphasis this time on the demand below here, right? This critical demand below here I think is really important. So even though I know that the market is still structuring lower and is still bearish by every regard, it still is a bounce off a key technical support zone. And for that reason, I think that we should watch and see if we actually do get reclaims today. Because if we reclaim, upside. If we don't reclaim, then obviously we're stuck in this channel, right? And again, if we lose the 510, then I think that's where downside comes in. So again, if we're going to trade today, trade levels. 510 support, 524 resistance, 500 micro support, but I wouldn't really be along there, to be honest with you, unless I saw you could try to long the 500, but again, it's not going to be as beautiful, right? You want to see us maintain 510. That would be for your real positive bullish sentiment today. 510 must maintain. And on the ES chart, it's pretty simple. On the ES chart today, it all comes down to this 50-50 level, right? It comes down to 50-50, right? If we're above 50-50, we're bullish, right? And we're seeing sentiment obviously being positive. 50-50 would be the equivalent. This would be the equivalent of what level? It would be equivalent to SPY 500, okay? So if we're above 50-50, we are holding SPY 500. The equivalent of 510 on SPY would be this level right here. It would be 5150. So 5150 is also an important level, which I will write down right here so you guys have it. SPY 51, where is it? 510, right? I'm on a new keyboard today, guys. Remember the keyboard I showed you yesterday? I'm using that today. So if it sounds loud, it's probably because of that. Would I take the 510 bounce? Yes, the 510 bounce would be valid today, right? The 510 bounce on SPY. If you're looking for longs, that's probably the best possible spot. It's going to be, hey, do we hold the 510? Now, it's not going to be like the 480 was like a very obvious bounce that I would take that any day of the week. 510, you want to really see, do we get confirmation there, right? If we see the confirmation come in, upside, I'm looking for that, right? So again, if you're watching levels today, you're watching the 510 bounce, you're watching the 524 reclaim. If you're looking for shorts, then you're watching for this to happen, right? So I'm giving you guys both sort of scenarios today. But for now, because we're above the 510, look for longs at 510. Simply because we are above the level, we are holding below the level. Let's see if we can look for some maintenance there at the 510, okay? On the QQQ chart, on the Qs, it comes down to 421, right? If we're above 421 support, we are holding support and we are good, right? I also am noticing there's a lot of light coming in this room right now, so that's probably why my camera quality is not so good. There's probably too much light coming in this room. Anyway, on the 421 Qs, this is the level to watch out for. If we're holding 421, 422, we're holding support. Keep that in mind, right? Next level of resistance comes in here at 450. If you're going to watch for shorts anywhere today, to be honest, your best possible short is going to be here on the QQQ 449, right? This is your lower high. I think that's the area to watch out for shorts. Again, this is a very big resistance. The first tap of that resistance probably is going to act as a rejection point. So watch 449 for supply today. Okay, 449. The equivalent of this, like on SPY, if you were to equate this level to SPY's chart, that would be like saying, hey, watch the 535, right? 535, 534, 535. Again, this would be a rejection spot. It would be a very obvious rejection spot. Even though the market's moving stronger, I would argue this is a good area to look for a knee-jerk reaction for puts. So again, this and this should be the best possible scenario today for like reversion plays. Okay. Let's move on, guys. Let's go over the first ticker today. Let's talk about Apple. So Apple is actually one of my top tickers I'm watching today. The reason why I'm watching Apple today is because Apple is at a critical demand, right? So Apple 178 critical demand. This is such an important level. If you go to a daily time frame here on Apple's chart, you're going to see precisely why. Apple, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I didn't trade this yesterday at all, right? I didn't touch Apple at all. I actually traded only Amazon yesterday. But Apple 178, 178, 178, a series of lows and series of highs. A very big demand here on the 1 day, on the 1 week time frame that I think is really important, even intraday today. Okay, because I see the fact that the stock is still weak, right? I see it, I know it, I see it with you guys. It is still a weak stock. But the argument here in Apple is that if it gets above this Friday breakdown level, right? The Friday breakdown level here, 190, this could be a really solid long opportunity today. This is still an underperforming stock. And I want you guys to understand that. Sometimes I'll tell you guys, I will show you guys stocks that are outperforming, and the outperforming stocks typically will do really well that session. Apple may not do so well this session until it gets above 190, right? Now, that means it could happen tomorrow. It means it could happen Thursday. It means it could happen Friday. I'm not suggesting Apple is going to be the strongest name today. I don't think it will be the strongest name unless it gets above 190, in which it definitely will be. I don't want to say that. It should be one of the strongest names, right? Because a reclaim of that Friday breakdown level on Apple after holding a critical daily demand zone should get us upside back at a 202, 250, right? So this could be a really solid break and retest today, watching Apple above that 190. If it does lose 178, right, if it loses this low here, right, then downside obviously comes in. But my top watch is going to be longs above 190 as a very beautiful breakout trade today, right? Break, pull back long retest. That's what I'm watching today here on Apple's chart, okay? Let's move on, guys. Let's go over next chart. Let's go over Amazon. So Amazon was the one trade I had taken yesterday, right? And I'll tell you guys this, right? I didn't take the demand bounce yesterday in SPY, right? I did not get in calls at 480 in SPY. And, if you did not long the opening bell yesterday, you probably had a little bit of a difficult time. That being said, if you stayed true to the levels and saw what was happening, then you would have caught a really good trade here in Amazon's chart. Do you guys remember the low I just told you guys about on Apple, right? Remember that we said that Friday breakdown level, like that Friday level here? Well, look at the level here in Amazon. You see the level here at 170, right? 170, 170, 170. Amazon actually maintained pretty well on that Friday, on that Monday session, and it reclaimed that 170 level, and we got a very traditional break and retest. So yesterday's session, we went long here. We went long right here on the Amazon chart, right here in this little bull flag. Got a little upside here, took some profit there, and got the whole move back into here, and that was it, right? That was my day yesterday on Amazon's chart. This was a very solid chart. You can argue probably got lucky a little bit because the market did get news while I was in the long side trade, but I'll take it, right? I don't get lucky very often, so when I get my lucky trades, I'll take the lucky trade, and I'll take it and run. Now today here at Amazon's chart, so it was a technical idea turning into a positive catalyst during a news event, right? That's kind of what happened yesterday's session on Amazon. But now Amazon moving forward, Amazon actually is a strong stock. And this is important, right? Remember I said that Apple is not outperforming by any means. Amazon actually is outperforming. The reason why is because I want you guys to do something interesting. I want you to look at Friday session, okay? And look at the Friday high and look at the Friday low, okay? Now, Amazon is actually above not only the Friday low, but also above the Friday high, right? You see that, okay? Now, compare that for a second to SPY's chart. Where's SPY? SPY is between the Friday low and between the Friday high. Now, compare that to Apple. Apple is fully underneath that Friday low. Okay, so if you're looking for outperforming names today, I want you to simply look for names that are trading above the Friday highs for longs. Now, I know Apple's not doing that yet, but if Apple does reclaim that level, I think upside. That being said, the stronger names are going to be names like Amazon today, probably, right? Amazon is obviously an outperformer. It's above that Friday high. And as long as it's above 180, this probably goes back into 190. So if you're going to look for trades today on Amazon, look for this today. Look for a hold of 180 for longs back into 190, right? That would be probably your best possible trade today. I would not watch shorts on a name that's outperforming the overall market, right? That's a very important thing to talk about, right? If the name is outperforming, focus on a name that's underperforming for shorts. This is a case where I would not short. I would not short Amazon. Amazon's holding 180, right? Holding 180, upside, look for a move back into the 190, okay? So very simple chart here. Let's move on, guys. Let's move on to the next chart. Let's go over Nvidia. So Nvidia, actually, before we do Nvidia, I want to show you something on the SMH. SMH weekly time frame, a level that I didn't see before. And I was actually strolling through Twitter, and who posted this? I think it was that charting platform. It was a TrendSpider. TrendSpider posted this chart on the weekly time frame, and I wanted to show you guys this because this is probably one of the best looking weekly time frame charts that I've seen in a while. Okay, and it's the 160 on SMH, right? This is the SMH sector. This is the overall chip sector. Okay, and you are seeing a very traditional resistance, breakout, and a pullback to our 160 demand zone. Okay, so this is the overall sector here on the SMH. Okay, the overall sector here in the SMH is probably one of the best buying opportunities that we've had in many months. If not, the best time we've had this buying opportunity was when 483 days ago. So I can actually tell you guys quantitatively the exact day this is the best buying opportunity in 476 days. Okay, on the SMH sector. Now you carry over that idea now and you look at Nvidia. Let's look at Nvidia's chart now. So let's jump over the idea. Let's go over to Nvidia and let's talk about the NVDA chart. Now Nvidia, I am buying the dip here. You guys know about I've been buying the dip since 120, so I'm a little bit early to the party here, right? But I am still buying the dip. I'm still adding more Nvidia, and in the short term, what Nvidia must do. Okay, let's use the same comparison here. So the Friday high is here at 100. Okay, so this is actually above our Friday high. We are above the Friday high this morning. And we are above that 100 level, the 100 support zone today. So what can we do here in NVIDIA? On NVIDIA's chart, I would watch for two things. I would watch for a break and hold above 104 for longs back into 107, okay? Or if you want to get sneaky today, you want to get real sneaky, you want to get real, maybe a little sweaty trade here, watch the 100 level. If you see us very beautifully hold 100 today, this is going to be your best possible long spot, right? I don't know if it will hold it yet, right? It's still early. This is just a pre-market gap up in the market. I don't know if 100 is going to hold, but if you are looking for the best possible long spot, it is 100, right? So look for holds at 100 today as a demand bounce, and also look for the break and hold above 104. That's probably the best possible trades today. The 104 break and retest, probably the one I'm trading the most, right? I would definitely trade that today, no questions asked. Above 104, you see it move back to the 107. A hold of 100 is an entry point as well, but you must look for confirmation there because, again, the market may not give us the juice today, right? We're just gapping up a little bit. We don't know if this is going to hold yet. So that should be the idea we have this morning, okay? Let's move on. Let's move on. So, okay, we have 1,400 people in here, and we have how many likes do we have? How many likes? We have 200 likes. Can we get 400 likes today? Please like the video, subscribe if you can. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so AMD. On the AMD chart, watch 90. So the level to watch for on AMD is 90. This is important, right? Remember I said look at the names that are above the Friday's lows and above the Friday's highs. This is a name that's what? That's sitting, again, kind of right at the Friday's lows, right? This is a name that's not relatively strong. I would not watch AMD longs until it gets above 90, right? This is, again, a pop and fade spot. Even yesterday's session, we said if you're looking for shorts on AMD, it's going to be somewhere here at 90, right? That's what happened yesterday. It got slapped off. Even during the market volatility upside, it got slapped off the 90 resistance. AMD is still relatively weak, and therefore I would not really go. I don't want to go long in the stock until it breaks above 90. In fact, with that same logic, I can reverse that logic and say if the market does get weak today, AMD is going to be one of the top names of short, right? So even though the semiconductor sector is strong, right? Not strong, but approaching weekly demand, and Nvidia is strong, AMD is still a stock I would look for shorts on, okay? Where I would look for shorts would be basically this. It would be a failure of 90, right, for puts, or it would be a break and hold under 80 for puts, right? Again, all I'm doing with you guys is I'm showing you levels and I'm pinpointing what appears to be relatively weak and what appears to be relatively strong. That's where edge comes from, right? So edge in the market, this is where we get even slightly more edge. I wouldn't touch AMD longs until it did one of these, until it maybe does this, and then I would have some more interest. Again, it comes down to that Friday level. If we are below the Friday level, I don't like it for longs, right? If we are above that Friday level, then maybe there is some logic behind looking for longs that name, okay? Let's move on. Let's do like a quick scan of AVGO. AVGO, I mean, nothing's really happening here, right? This chart is pretty much stagnant. 157 appears to be your level, right? 157 support and 170 resistance. Let's go Tesla. Tesla. The same logic applies to Tesla. Right? Nothing's different here. So where's the Friday low? The Friday low level is here at 235, and the Friday high is here at 261. This is trading in the midpoint between the two. I don't know if Tesla's going to have much juice today, right? Unless it can get above that 260 level. If it gets above 260, that's going to be an incredible break and retest. You can look for longs there. But until then, I don't like longs in this stock, right? 260 break and retest is probably the best possible trade here. Until then, wait to see what happens with 260. If it can break it, you have upside back into 270. And that's simply all we have here on the Tesla chart, right? Break and hold above 260 for longs. If you want to look for shorts, your shorts are going to come in under 230 for a downside move back into 215. 215 is still support. That was the support we discussed yesterday's session. We actually were looking for puts under 215 yesterday. Nothing happened yesterday, just held support. Today's session, we're just back at resistance. So today, I would not be so quick to long Tesla unless it got above this high here, right? Maybe there's a long above 251, right? That's the major reclaim level, right, from yesterday's session. You could maybe look for a sneaky long play above 251. But again, if you're sneaky longing this trade above 251, you only have as room as far as 260, okay? 260 as your next level of resistance. So this is what I'd watch if you're looking for longs, and the best possible long is going to be above 260 because that actually would be a bullish switch, right? This would be your bull switch. The switch between being bearish and bullish would be the break and hold above 260, and that would be the best possible long play. If you're scalping above 251, you're just kind of scalping a little bit of a move. Above 260 is a real breakout trade, so watch that if you do get there, okay? Larger time frame on Tesla, just to kind of talk about it, you can see that there is some logic behind holding support. You see 215 holding support, but again, it has some big levels it needs to reclaim. That Friday low level is 260 as well. Remember the Friday low level that was important from about 2 weeks ago? That's still important today. Okay, 260. Right. Let's move on, guys. Let's go to Meta. Meta's chart. On the Meta chart, you can see we also spoke about this yesterday too. And there were two opportunities for longs later on in the session yesterday. If you missed the opening bell, it was really Amazon, and it was either Amazon or it was Meta. Those are the two best possible long plays yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about the idea of Meta reclaiming what level. We said if Meta reclaims 500, this could be a really solid hold trade, right? A long opportunity. And what happened yesterday was what I talk about, right? Everything that I do comes down to the break and retest, right? If you, again, look at the Friday low level. The Friday low level support comes in at 500. In the pre-market on Monday, we said this stock had resiliency, right? It had resiliency. It was barely gapping down on the overall market. Was going, back to the planet's core, right? Everything was dumping to the planet's core, and we saw that on Monday's session, Meta's chart was maintaining pretty well. It maintained right under 500, and we knew that if it reclaimed 500, you'd see a break, pull back long, retest, upside trade. This again was probably your best possible long right here. Long it at 500, upside move back into highs. That was a play yesterday. Now today's session, again, this is a name I would also look for longs today. Why? Because we are above that Friday level. Okay, if we're above the Friday level, I like it for longs. Where does it go to now though? The next level I can see here, you can see there's a level produced here around 539. 539 appears to be the next level. You can see 539 and change. Oh, that's not it. Where we are. There we are. 539 and change appears to be the next level. If we can hold above 539, look for longs back into 553. Okay, that's what I'd watch out for today. Okay, above 539, longs back into 553. If it can't break above 539 today, then this probably just simply does this and goes right back to the demand lows. Don't short it back into 500 though. You guys have to know that 500 is big technical support. Yesterday's session, you guys saw that 500 being a level. If you're looking for longs, look for that. If you can look for shorts, I wouldn't short this name yet because again, this is one of the strongest names in the market. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go over some tickers you guys are watching. I'm reading the chat now. Can we do SoFi? Yes, let's do SoFi. SoFi. 1 hour time frame. I would not. I would not be along back in. Oh, we keep doing that. We keep doing that. Bam. I would not be along back in the 10.8, right? 10.8 is a level. This is the daily 200 SMA, give or take, and that previous low. If you're going to watch for shorts anywhere, it's going to be a level, right? A level here. You're seeing the level produced right over here at 10.8 and a downside move, right? I would not be long the stock until it gets above this level right here, that 10.8 level. If it can get above it, then look for longs. But until then, be hesitant of longing this trade here until it gets above this level. This is the level of levels today. This could easily happen. Be careful of that level. It's a rejection point. Level. Okay. If it gets above this level here at 10.8, next level is the SMA, the daily 200 SMA, 11.3, and then 14.0. Right. So besides that, let's go over PLTR. PLTR was halted yesterday. You guys probably saw that. PLTR halted yesterday, and this morning, oh my God, look at the level it just came off of, right? It just bounced off of our macro support, 63. This is an interesting hold here, guys. I mean, 63 maintaining here on the PLTR chart. It reclaimed 80 now. I would watch and see if it can hold 80. If it can hold 80, this is a good possible long spot. This is probably your only trade today. If it can hold 80 today, look for longs back into 90, right? That's it. Right there, right? If it can hold, long side. If it can't hold, if the market flips today and does this, I would not long this stock because it goes right back into daily demand here, which is the long spot. So longs are there and longs are here, right? Those are the two long plays. Watch and see now if 80 holds, because if 80 holds, this is going to be a really strong long opportunity. Okay, right. Let's move on. Let's go over hood. 1 hour time frame here in the hood. Let's remove all the drawing because I want to get a proper read here. You can see. Let's just do a. Wow, we keep doing that. Okay, bam. So 66, that's the previous high. You can see 50, it's a level as well. 33, and then 28 appears to be a level that we bounced off of. Now, where is that 28 level coming from? It's coming from the high here around that October high, October 2024 high. I mean, there is also support right here at 24. But if you look at hood now, I mean, it's fully reclaimed 33. I think at this point, your best possible long is going to be somewhere on a pullback long at 33. If you can get that, that's your dip buy here, daily 200 SMA, and at 33 Wednesday support zone, that V-shaped reversal. Look for 33 for longs. That's what I'd watch out for here on the hood chart. Okay, let's go over. We already did Tesla, guys. Go back in the stream if you want to watch Tesla. Let's go over TSM. TSM. TSM, this to me still obviously is impacted by tariffs probably more than any other chip name. This stock is very aggressively moving both up and down. I think that you're probably watching the 160 rejection, right? If you can see a 160 rejection, I'd watch out for that today. Look for a pop and fade 160. That's probably your best possible trade here on TSM. Last ticker of the stream. Let's do DKNG, DraftKings. DKNG. I mean, it held support. It held the support we talked about yesterday, 30, right? As long as it holds 30, that's your level. If you were long on DKNG, the level it must hold is right here. There's not a single level that matters beyond 30 anymore. If DKNG is holding 30, it's holding support, and that's it, right? That's all you can do here in the chart. Where does it go to? Next level probably is back at this 36.5. 36.5 is the next resistance. You can see that's the low over here, the low over there, and the low over there. Guys, thank you all for joining in. Please bear with me while I get the stream stuff situated. I'm still learning. I'm a trader. I'm not a big YouTuber. So just bear with me as I get it fixed. I'll get it all ready for you guys next stream. Anyway, trade safe, trade smart, and I'll see you guys all for live trading if you trade with us. Bye, guys.